As many of you know, a number of statewide investigations happened after the supposed sting videos of Planned Parenthood were released. Now, those sting videos were highly edited. It turns out that Planned Parenthood was never doing anything illegal when it came to fetal tissue. They were not selling it for profit. However, some of the authorities in Ohio are trying to nitpick and find other reasons to shut Planned Parenthood down. The recent issue has to do with the way that fetal tissues are disposed of by Planned Parenthood. Now, the Attorney General in Ohio, his name is Mike DeWine, found no evidence that Planned Parenthood made money from aborted fetuses, but his report released Friday instead criticized its facilities for disposing of fetal remains in landfills. He accused the organization of violating a state rule requiring that fetal tissue be disposed of in a humane manner. So let's stop right there. It sounds bad, right? You're thinking, oh, they're disposing fetal remains in landfills. But that's actually what hospitals do. That's what clinics do, non-abortion related clinics. Where did you want them to dispose of it? And the Ohio law says that they must be disposed of in a humane way. So Planned Parenthood does what many other hospitals do. They hire a third party to dispose of hazardous waste, of medical waste. It's standard operating procedure. There are some states that have specific laws that indicate that you must cremate the remains, but Ohio does not have that law. So, again, Planned Parenthood, in this case, is not doing anything wrong.
So let's break apart what Mike DeWine is doing. By the way, Mike DeWine is a Republican. He's a former Republican senator from Ohio. So he investigated, and like 10 other investigations of Planned Parenthood, they all concluded that there is zero evidence that they are selling any fetal tissue, let alone baby parts, as Carly Fiorina and the murderer Robert Deere have said. So all that was propaganda, and even the Republican who desperately wanted to find something on Planned Parenthood had to say, okay, there's no evidence at all that they're breaking the law. So he had to invent something new because he wants to blame Planned Parenthood even if there's no evidence. So he's like, oh, I can't break the law and say that they violated it because they didn't. I don't like the way you're disposing. What do you mean I don't like the way you're disposing it? The law says you should do it in a humane way. They've done it in a way that is perfectly acceptable throughout all this time. You have no evidence that they've violated the law or any regulation in any way, shape, or form. I don't care. I'm going to investigate them anyway. Well, what do you want them to do with it? Do you want them to cremate it? Well, if you want that, you should put it in the law, but it's not in the law. Yeah. I don't care. I'm going to blame them no matter what. I believe that's called DeWining.
Yes. Oh, I like that. So what the state lawmakers are now doing is they're writing a bill that would force Planned Parenthood to cremate the fetal body parts or the fetal remains.
Or bury, but this is absurd. Yeah. But because it's not a person. Now, yesterday we did a story about a late-term abortion that a woman attempted on her own. It's 24 weeks. See, that was a person. It was viable outside the womb, and it turns out it survived. The baby survived. You see, if the baby hadn't survived in that horrible thing that she did, then you would give that baby a proper burial. But before that, it is not a baby. That's why we have said that it is not an independent life form. And so you don't have to bury it, you don't have to cremate it. It's fetal tissue. So if you took tissue, when you do a biopsy, you take tissue out of somebody. Do we have to bury that too? Or go through cremation? No, this is an attempt to do propaganda to convince women that, hey, you know what, it is a life, it is a life, it is a life. Oh, look at this baby we're going to bury. And in fact, the law that they want to pass in Ohio, they want to tell the women before they get the abortion, would you afterwards, no matter how young it is, no matter how early it is in the pregnancy, would you like us to bury it or to cremate it?
Yeah, so part of the reason why they're doing that is because they're pushing this notion that a fetus is a person, right? Like they want people to think of zygotes, of fetuses that are not viable outside the womb as independent life forms. That way you shame the woman who's seeking an abortion.
That's exactly the
because
point.
She feels like she's a murderer, that she's killing an independent life form, which
that you got to put into a coffin. Now, I know people who've gotten abortions, and a lot of it was early on, and a lot of it was because there was no heartbeat. And something had gone wrong. There was nothing in the middle. I mean, that's the worst scientific explanation ever. But okay.
Wait, there's some. What do you mean?
I know. But there's a lot of different things that go wrong.
Yes.
And what do they have to do? They do an abortion. But there was never a life there in the first place. There was never a life. Now you tell that woman, okay, now would you like me to put this in a coffin? Screw off. Don't put your morality on us. That's an invented morality. It's not even your morality. It doesn't even say it in the Bible. In the Bible, it's pro-abortion. So I don't agree with the Bible. I'm pro-choice, not pro-abortion.
But again, if Ohio lawmakers are upset at the way Planned Parenthood is doing things, A, they're not breaking the law, and B, they're not breaking the law because of you. You didn't write into the law that fetal tissue needs to be cremated. So they're trying to hurry up and do that now. They were trying to take legal action to shut down Planned Parenthood right away, but a judge intervened and said, no. You're not going to do anything to Planned Parenthood for the moment being. We're going to continue investigating this. If we find that they did something wrong, then we can shut them down. But it's unlikely that they're going to find that Planned Parenthood did anything wrong. Because they didn't. They didn't break any laws.
You know what they're doing. They're doing the same trick now in Tennessee and Wisconsin. They're now going, fetal remains. We're going to see if you're disposing of them right. Well, where do you want us to put them? We've done this the same way. Hospitals have done it the same way. You know what you're doing? You're trying to block people from having abortions. You're trying to circumvent the law of the land. This country, by law, according to the United States Constitution, is pro-choice. Now, you can disagree with that decision, but that's a sad day for you. That's the Supreme Court. That's the way this country works. There's Supreme Court decisions I despise, like Citizens United. I don't say, all right, that's it, well, then I'm not following it. No, I do politics to try to overturn that. You're allowed to do the same thing. It's a free country. But you don't get to say, no, I'm now changing the law state by state, and I'm going to try to ignore what the Supreme Court said. That's not how it works, okay? You can go ahead and fight back politically, but to come in here and say, I'm going to try to trick you into giving your choice away, even though the Supreme Court says you do have that choice, that is not right. And by the way, last thing, let's be absolutely clear about this. Every single investigation has said that Planned Parenthood is not selling baby parts or fetal tissue. Not. These are Republicans that are investigating who desperately want to do damage to Planned Parenthood, and they're still saying there is zero evidence.